Oh, hello guys. Man, it's so wild. I was just coming back from dealing with some police corruption here in town where I'm at, and I saw the video of Charlie Kirk, and like just like foreknowledge of like my stuff with Kirk is I never followed him much. He just wasn't my style, and if you support Israel, I don't follow you. In general, left, right, I don't care. But this is starting to set like a really bad precedent in the U.S. And I guess what the Western world in general. But going after somebody like that and assassinating him because he's such a big figure, right? He's a big figure. Most people know his name, even if they don't follow him. Like me, I know his name. I don't know many of his opinions. I know he does the college debate thing all the time, but that's really about it. And I know he supported Israel, and I was like, yeah. But like it sets a bad precedent. That's why America was so special to begin with, is because we can all talk and disagree with one another, and it's a foundation. It's not just a natural and God-given, legally protected right. It's so much more. Like it's a foundation for like real freedom, and I think they're using it. I think this is something to sow and divide, man. I think it's just to sow and divide the people. For whatever is coming, like the economic crash, when enough people are miss 9 meals, so to speak, or if they pull some kind of crazy false flag, whatever's going on, which isn't above our government. It's how we've been in every war since Vietnam, at least. Fact. So, or false flag, or right, deception, like serious deception, and not going for the reasons said. But anyways, it's so bad, dude. This is such a bad precedent to set. And it's not something anybody should be cheering on, because that would, I mean, what if that was somebody from the political left as well, right? People would be outraged. The ones that are talking shit right now, saying it's good that he's dead. Like, y'all would be outraged if your favorite legacy, like Rachel Maddow, left, like crazy lefty, someone like that got popped. But for me, like, what if this could have been Glenn Greenwald? Huge, amazing journalist, left leaning. Could have been somebody like Aaron Mate or Max Blumenthal from the Gray Zone, Anya Parampil. It could have been someone like Jimmy Dore, or Kim Iverson, or somebody like Whitney Webb, or Ryan Christian, Ryan Dawson, Derek Bros, Joe Rogan, right? It could have been any of those guys. And if it would have upset you, if any of those names would have upset you that something like that happens, what happened to Charlie Kirk, if that same thing happened to them, then that is so ridiculously hypocritical, right? So look at the cycle that this is in. Look at this vicious circle that the U.S. is caught in. The public is attacked constantly. People are divided, and they're being kept to remain divided. Like, they're everything. So look at more of the big picture and stop nitpicking, like, for the smaller issues that are causing this to happen, and keeping us distracted from seeing the truth and from discovering the truth, right? stuff with disclosure and the technology that will bring, ending poverty across the world in a decade, if we can work together. Maybe sooner, right? Maybe just take 5 years. But the cycle of war, the cycle of power politics, which is a key part of all this ridiculous shit going on, assassinations of influencers and political analysts and journalists and shit. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Like, what, are we back in the Lincoln days or something? At least Lincoln wasn't murdering them. Not many that I know of, but he certainly jailed 300 people within the media with it in the Union, not in the Confederacy, in the Union, but because a lot of them were speaking out against him and against the war, because Lincoln walked into secession, a bunch of states trying to secede because of economic and tax purposes, and it was him that kind of that really it was Lincoln that instigated it in the Union. He wanted that war in order to get control. That's the real story, right? So don't get caught up in arguing over, like, if you lean left or right or whichever way you lean. Just a simple right and wrong. Keep this thing kind of simple. This should not happen to anybody, Look at, what about, like, Julian Assange or Edward Snowden? If anybody wouldn't be, like, terribly upset if one of those guys specifically got hurt, like, then you're a fool and you have no heart. These people are just trying to bring truth to the world, right? And it's always against people like this that have a big voice, in times where the political climate can make or break the future of a country. This is one of those times, right? So the huge things, like, don't let Epstein go. Don't let 9/11 go, right? Start pushing back into Iran-Contra, and that don't let Epstein go. And this disclosure, that needs to be shoved down the fucking throat of the government. That needs to happen. Even some of the technology that humans have created would solve every energy and pollution problem in the world, like that, like not even a quarter of a generation, right, of a generation's lives. Right? Don't let COVID go either. Don't let the mRNA vaccines go, and all that terrible death and destruction that's coming out of that shit. Like, these are the real issues. And we should all at least agree that we need to find the truth about those, whichever way it goes. That should be a general agreement among everybody with the big issues. Like, we just need and must have the truth. And if you're still following anybody on legacy media, then you don't see what's happening, right? Like, that is the same team. It doesn't matter if it's MSNBC or Fox or ABC or who the fuck ever. New York Post, New York Times, Washington. It doesn't matter. If you're following any of those, like, seriously, and on the big issues, then you really have no clue what's actually going on in the world, right? That list I named earlier, that was a handful of people from the left, handful of people from the right. And they differ on a lot of stuff. They have a lot of differing opinions. But what they all do in common is they report on real corruption. And a lot of them, left and right, all cover the same stories because it's real corruption. And it's the shit that's destroying our world. And look at the cycle. This has just been going on for decades now. And especially like the last 4 or 5 years. This is, I do believe this is an attempt to push the United States closer, like, to that brink, which we're already at internally, you know. But they're trying to tip... Excuse me, I've been a little sick today. But they've been trying to tip people over the ledge and just cause all-out chaos. That happens, right, in the middle of an economic meltdown where everybody's losing hope. No one's making enough to pay their bills, to pay what they need and survive. And most people don't have, the vast majority of people don't have enough food and stuff stored to survive more than a week if they're lucky, you know? Think about this stuff, and because look at the climate of what's happening and how divided we are. It's so bad. And look at how the direction we're all getting pushed. Right? The only thing that we really need to agree on to make a path forward, no matter what political leaning you have, is like we just have to come together and bring out a real team, real investigations that lead to the real answers, wherever those fucking answers, wherever the trail leads to find the answers. Like, nothing else matters, right? There's a lot of people up and fighting for the right things, right? On both sides. A lot of people are like just disgusted with the Epstein, and of course you should be. Everybody's disgusted with 9/11, but the big fight that they put in between it is like the government and media's narrative versus like real journalist, right? Real independent journalists and researchers and investigators that have broken huge stories, right? Like the lie about Assad in Syria dropping chemical weapons on his own people, right? The OPCW, the organization ran by the United Nations for chemical and biological warfare and weapons of mass destruction warfare, all kinds of ways. The head scientists there to do the tests and stuff. It was all the scientists and the heads of the investigation that were blowing the whistle on that shit. You know, and that's something that people are so divided about is this whole shit in the Middle East and Israel, like, and the wars, that is a big deal that we have to sit and everybody needs to talk about, because this is madness too. Everything, like all this money, all this effort, all this equipment, so many of our strong young men and women, you know, all out, the soldiers spread out thin across the world, while our economy is failing, and while the world hates, the rest of the world hates the wars that we're causing, like the majority of the public. All the shit in Venezuela is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're not a narco-terrorist state. It's like pretty much every country around them that surrounds Venezuela, like the real narcos, right? I love Colombia and the people there, but like, let's be real, that's over 70% of the world cocaine supply. And Venezuela's the narco-terrorist, all the shit going on in Ecuador. They just did a great thing, Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate on The Gray Zone. Just did a great interview with the expert that's there in Ecuador live. Born and lives there. One of their top investigative journalists, bilingual. Go look at that. dude. He tells the facts about it. And he would know more than you. And certainly more than MSNBC and Fox. And those other guys. Person that's there, lived it, experienced it, and that's a professional in finding out about this shit. Right? Not these bums that are fucking getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions a year, sponsored by the government, in order to run the narrative the way they want. That shit's been proven. It's proven. It's been out in court. You have the whistleblowers. And Richard Doty is just... He's just one of them. About that specific thing, He's just one of them. A whistleblower about the government paying people to suppress stories or run a certain narrative in some way. Just focus on the big stuff. Don't let the little stuff divide. And have the common ground and the common fucking sense to say, hey, I think it's this way. I think it's this way. We disagree on that. Fine. But let's get it unbiased, nonpartisan, of any kind, scientific and investigative inquiry into these things, and see what the truth is. See where the path leads. That's all you have to do, is agree to put in motion a real investigation into the real issues together, and then come up with a conclusion. It's that easy. And these events like Charlie Kirk, like the attempted assassination of Trump, or the few times, the being quiet about certain stuff, like that poor little Ukrainian girl that just got stabbed on the train, and then the mainstream media, and they just start pushing out like a racial narrative out of nowhere, and then silence it as much as they can, and pushing to protect him for like just getting up like this behind a chick in the seat in front of him on the bus and just stabbing her in the neck for no fucking reason and killing her. Who cares who did it? Whoever did it needs to be punished. Who the fuck cares who it is? Anybody does that, they need to get punished. Period. Right? They need to take blame. Like, it's not... It's their fault. You make a conscious decision to just randomly stab and murder. It's their fault. It's your fault. Whoever... You have to be able to agree on simple shit like that. It doesn't matter who it is. Don't fight one way or another. Find out the facts and put out the proper actions afterwards. Whatever it is. That's so important. I think this is a time to come out to this, because like I said, I don't know much about Charlie Kirk. I don't really follow him. But doing that is setting a precedent, and staying in this circle of division and chaos, and driving each other to violence, and all the other things, like, that is what's keeping people separated. So put that shit to the side and agree to look for the truth together, even if you have different opinions. That is how we resolve this shit. That was the first step, like, to do on a communal basis, but in the U.S. So it's like the first step. Hey, we both agree that this is a problem. I believe this, you believe that. Let's put the proper resources and investigations into this together from somebody outside of both of us who doesn't care how it goes, who's just some fucking investigative freak that has a boner for finding out dirt or something. Who cares? Like, just some badass investigative journalist that, no matter where it goes, just wants to fight for the people and protect their people and their countries and people of the world. Like, who cares where it goes? Like, if stuff like the truth coming out and you being against it for any reason, that's something that you have to grow past too. Like, somebody against what, like, Julian Assange or Edward Snowden blowing the whistle on things that affect all of our lives on a daily basis, and things that show the criminal elements and enterprises that are doing that, right? And then how can you get mad at somebody for speaking the truth about the oppression and enslavement of you and your people and your loved ones? Like, that's just crazy to me. Shit. That's all, man. Like, I've been going off on this because it's crazy. Don't let this push you into more division, because whoever is pulling the strings up there, it's obvious they want internal chaos in the United States in order to implode it and make it non-relevant. And then I wonder, if that happens, I wonder where all that crazy technology that we've been developing and all that money was stolen to create. You know, with our taxes and all the black budget shit that they did. I wonder where all that technology is going to go. Their zero-point energies, their anti-gravity, their fucking underground cities that have been built. All that shit sounds crazy, right? But it's there. Like, it is physically there and real. So, like, what's gonna happen? Like, we can't. This is our time to shine. Like, all this stuff is coming out. People are pissed. Keep it pushing forward, but stay on the path with each other. Don't keep fighting about the path. Just walk it together. Who cares who cares the direction it comes, as long as you can agree to find the truth? That's what it comes down to.